Boost Global. Reporting, 9 times Newscaster of the Year, Gimber Umar.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari has replaced all of the country's service chiefs, appoints new ones after several years of complaints by the public and federal lawmakers demanding for the removal of the military commanders. Rights activist Dr. Obi Ezekwesili asked the federal government to communicate with Nigerians over the situation in Olu, Imo State, where the army is alleged to be in a face-off with the Eastern Security Network, decries extrajudicial killings. National President of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, Magban, Muhammadu Irwa, has directed Fulani herders across the southwest of the country to put an end to both night and underage grazing with immediate effect. The EU has warned it will tighten rules on export of COVID-19 vaccines amid a row with AstraZeneca over a cut in planned supplies to 27-member bloc. We begin tonight from Abuja as the President Muhammadu Buhari replaces all of the country's service chiefs. The President's action comes after several years of complaints by the public and federal lawmakers in the country demanding for the removal of the military commanders. The Senate and the House of Representatives, in separate resolutions, had demanded the replacement of the service chiefs because of the worsening security in Nigeria's northeast, where more than 10 years of insurgency by the Islamic Jihad group Boko Haram has killed thousands of people. The insecurity has been compounded by banditry in the north and kidnappings for ransom across the country. The President's spokesman, Femi Adesina, said in a statement that President Muhammadu Buhari accepted the immediate resignation of the service chiefs and their retirement from service. Buhari appointed new heads of Nigeria's Army, Navy and the Air Force. The new service chiefs are Major General Leo Irabo, Chief of Defense Staff, Major General I. Atahiru, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral A.Z. Gambo, Chief of Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal I.O. Amao, Chief of Air Staff. The President appreciates the exiting service chiefs and welcomes the new one, wishing the old ones well in their future endeavor. Dr. Obi Ezekwesili has asked the federal government to communicate with Nigerians over the situation in Olu, Imo State, where the army is alleged to be in a face-off with some other group believed to be the Eastern Security Network, set up to tackle insecurity in the region. Dr. Ezekwesili made the call for clarification in a tweet wherein she asked, "Is the entire town under combat operations from our military? Can the CNC let Nigerians know who ordered this operation?" Social media videos have gone viral of alleged shooting by men in military uniforms on the streets of the town, injuring some, as others were alleged to have been killed by stray bullets. One of such victims is a woman seen in a pool of her own blood by a roadside market. The men dressed in army uniforms could also be seen taking position and shooting as one member, believed to be the head of the team, asked his colleagues to stop firing. Some others were also seen going from street to street in a show of force, who were said to have set homes, shops and markets ablaze. Trouble began in Olu last week when a clash between the two groups in the town resulted in casualties for the uniformed men, who say that they will not rest until they get revenge. In the meantime, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, has imposed a dawn to dusk curfew in Olu area of the state. The governor has also condemned the attacks, in his words, by gunmen in Olu area of the state, which led to the killing and maiming of innocent citizens, and has ordered security agencies to fish out the perpetrators of the act and bring them to book. He said, "I received a very disturbing report on the activities of a group of militants who unleashed a shooting spree in Olu area of the state, killing and maiming innocent citizens in the process. I am totally appalled by this sad report, which appears to paint a picture of near breakdown of law and order in Olu area. The government condemns in its entirety this act of extreme hooliganism and brigandage. This is completely unacceptable to this administration. Those behind this callous barbarism will surely regret their action," the governor said. In the meantime, as the governor of Imo State assures citizens of justice in the violence perpetrated by the uniformed gunmen, he is also calming frayed nerves, saying that the situation in Olu area is under control with security operatives deployed around the clock in the zone. According to him, every security measure necessary to put the place back in order has been taken, and law-abiding citizens can now go about their businesses in the affected area without any fear of molestation. The statement by the government also advises all law-abiding citizens of Imo State to comply strictly with the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. curfew, warning that anyone caught within the curfew bracket will be as a suspect. And away from the southeast to the southwest, the national president of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MAGBAN, Alhaji Muhammadu Kiruwa, has directed Fulani herders across the southwest to put an end to both night and underage grazing with immediate effect. Kiruwa also warned herders to desist from taking their cows to people's farms for grazing, saying that the frequent farmers and herders clash must be brought to an end. He was speaking in Akure, the Ondo State capital, during a meeting between members of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association and governors under the platform of the Nigeria Governors Forum. The MAGBAN president said that the order given by Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State is not new and has existed for the past 2 years, adding that those who wish to remain in the government forest reserves should get registered. Joining us on News Global to have a broader look at this is a security expert, Mr. Onai Humo. He joins us via Zoom from downtown Lagos. General Secretary, Gan Allah Fulani Development Association of Nigeria, GAFDAN. Mr. Abdullahi, let's recap on what we have developed already. In your view, what is the major problem you see with the existence of farmers and herders living side by side?
Well, the major problem has to do with so many years of neglect of the nomadic pastoralists in Nigeria, and the attention, almost the whole attention of government in agricultural development was targeted to arable farming. So over the years, we have a situation where in the 21st century, you still have people that depend on traditional system of animal husbandry in a country that is supposed to be developing. When you compare the development of agricultural, the arable farming subsector of agriculture and that of livestock, you see the disparity. When you go to all the ministries in states and at the federal level, you compare the budgetary allocation to livestock subsector to that of agriculture, you can see the disparity. When you look at the fact that in the whole of Nigeria today, you don't have one single livestock extension officer that provides the knowledge on animal husbandry to the nomadic pastoralists. When you compare that to the money being expended in training extension officers to help farmers, to develop their own system. When you consider the fact that the population of Nigeria is increasing by the day, and the fact that the land does not increase an inch, you will come to understand and appreciate the fact that for so many years, the Fulani pastoralists have been neglected by governments at all levels. Their economy, their means of livelihood, which is animal husbandry, has been affected so much. Their economy has been destroyed over so many years. So some of them, have decided to resort to criminality and crimes. And when you also consider the fact that they are the most backward society in terms of education.
Okay, if I may butt in right there, when you said they are resorting to criminality and crime, isn't that the reason why the governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu, said and gave those marching orders that the Fulanis should leave the forest reserves? Those of them occupying it illegally, leave the forest reserves. Do you agree with that?
You see, the reaction of governments at all levels, including that of the governor you've mentioned, is a clear signal, clear testimony to the fact that government is either not interested in solving the problem or they did not understand the problem at all. And it is very, very important that you understand a problem before you come to solving it. How can you tell people to just live without providing alternative shelter to them. It's just like what happened in Benue. You enacted a law prohibiting grazing without providing alternative grazing to those people. I think we need to sit down, look at this problem, understand it, and then go ahead and solve it. The issue of crime and criminality in Nigeria, what I see is there is a syndicate comprising of all tribes in Nigeria. But because a Fulani man is less educated, he is made the foot soldier. Go to YouTube, check all the video clips of investigation and interrogation by police officers in Nigeria. You find a criminal being arrested, confessing that they have conducted, kidnapping. They have collected 10 million naira, and when you ask him how much did you get, he will tell you he got 50,000. Where is the remaining money? Who takes that money? That shows that he is only a foot soldier. There are other people, there are other tribes living in the town, using him to unleash terror on the society. There is no Fulani man in Nigeria that has a trailer. Where are those people that transport these stolen animals from the bush to the towns, sometimes from the north to the south? Where are those? Are they Fulani? Who provides the guns, for them to carry out the operation? Who slaughtered those animals, knowing fully well that they are stolen animals? So the truth of the matter is that you don't look at foot soldiers only. You have to look at it holistically, fish out all those criminals living in town, using these people, using their ignorance, to unleash terror on the society. Okay. I think unless the government...
Let's bring it to the security expert, Mr. Keyamo. You heard what his submissions are. How do we go about providing the right type of solutions? We know that the leader of the Mayati Allah Katu Breeders Association has asked that every underage herder should not be allowed to do that again, and grazing at night should be cancelled completely in the southwestern states.
I think that the problems as stated by Mr. Abdullahi, they are very cogent. The reasons, the rationalizations that have been given by him, they are very cogent. I think anytime you neglect a people to such an extent, you should expect a pushback. It's a law of nature, and nature abhors a vacuum. So it's like the problem of out-of-school children who have 15 million now in Nigeria. It's going to bite us in the backside sometime in the near future. So if you don't take care of people, it's going to become a problem for you in time to come. But having said that, I think I must take you back, Mr. Gimba, to what I said at the beginning, that we must kind of break down the problem so that we know what we are solving at a time. There is a problem of productivity. There's a problem of, like he has said, even I'm very pleased to learn that we ought to have extension services and maybe the people who train the herders in how to improve their services, in how to improve their trade and all that. That is good. Now, but what I'm saying is, if we say that the productivity of the Fulani cattle rearer is the problem, then let's solve that. If we say it's a security problem, then let's solve security. So all those business of no underage header prohibition, night prohibition, those will not solve the problem, because that's just a problem of the farmers versus herders. The underlying problem here, what is really keeping everyone awake at night, is the problem of crime and criminality. So Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi has said something very important. He says these guys have the masters who are sending these guys as foot soldiers. So again, that goes back to law enforcement.
No, that's the point. My apologies, if I may just chip in here. That's the point. How do we crack that network?
It's classic security, law enforcement, intelligence. Now, we know that, certainly like he said, these young people, they cannot handle that business by themselves. Let's call it a business, even though it's a wrong business. So there's got to be some masterminds. Who are those masterminds? What is intelligence? What is the SSS doing in terms of infiltrating these groups, going into the bushes, making some arrests? And now, instead of what we do here in Nigeria, we quickly try to shoot the perpetrators we catch. It's not about killing them. You call them, you elicit information from them, get good information, get good intelligence from them, which will now help you to get to the masterminds. Because like Mr. Abdullahi rightly said, if you don't get the masterminds, there's an endless stream of soldiers out there, foot soldiers. But the masterminds are the ones who control those foot soldiers. And that's where you have to break it, because these people, they do a lot of recruitment and indoctrination of these young people they use as foot soldiers in conducting these criminal activities. So the focus should be on getting these young ones who can now lead us to their masterminds, so that we can take out the masterminds and then save these young people from whatever the problems they are encountering.
Let me get your finishing thoughts, Mr. Abdullahi, because this really touches the very core of your own existence as a leader of some of these Fulani groups. If you were to profile a solution further, what will it be? What will you be telling the government? What must be done right now?
One, government should pay attention to animal husbandry. They should not treat Fulani people like foreigners. They should pay attention, the same attention that they give to the arable farming subsector. Two, I was just laughing when I heard what Miete Allah said about night grazing and so on, and I'm happy the other speaker talk about it. I don't know what night grazing or underage grazing has to do with kidnapping, cattle rustling, and armed robbery. I think all those solutions are cosmetic. We have to go back, to the basic. One, government should bring out policy that will develop, and modernize animal husbandry system. We don't need these movements, from one place to another. And I think that has been the major problem, affecting the nomadic pastoralists themselves. The government has produced a document which they call Livestock Transformation Agenda. And that document, when I went through it, I saw a document that if implemented, can be able to solve most of these problems, if not all. But then again, politics creep into it. It is called a livestock transformation agenda, but the implementers in their own wisdom have been calling it so many times, so many names. At a time it was called Ruga. At a time it was called, what do they call it? Ranching. And later on they call it, animal cattle colony. Names that can be able to hit up the polity, pitch the nomadic pastoralist against his own neighbor, the farmer, and so on and so forth. And I think government, the implementation of that document should not be at the office of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because that is a political office, and Vice Presidents, go after every 4 years. And to crown it all, there is no specific role for Vice President in the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if you want to implement that document, take it to the National Livestock Project Division, which has the primary responsibility, to implement it. Now that we are late in implementing that document, I think an implementation committee, presidential implementation committee on livestock transformation should be formed to work hand in hand with the National Livestock Development Project, NLPD. That document should be taken away completely from the office of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think if we do that, and also we have to identify all those people, all those masterminds of these crimes and criminalities, and I assure you they cut across the entire society, they are to all tribes in Nigeria. we have to fish them out, make them to face the wrath of the law. The last thing I want to add here is that the media should help us, by reporting accurately. The media should not tribalize crime. We should not ascribe crime and criminality to a particular tribe. And I think if we want to get it right, we have to know that there are criminals among Hausa, there are criminals among Fulani, there are criminals among Yoruba, and so on and so forth. Even recently, in the very state, that was asking the Fulanis to vacate, Yoruba people, criminals were arrested, with dangerous weapons. They have been perpetrating kidnapping. And this shows you that, like I said before, this is a syndicate comprising of all tribes in Nigeria, and we have to unmask.
I think that will be a good place. That will be a good place to let it rest. I most sincerely thank you, Alhaji Ibrahim Abdullahi, the General Secretary of Gan Allah Fulani Development Association of Nigeria, GAFDAN, joining us from Kaduna. Many thanks indeed for talking to us, as well as Chief Ona Ekomo. He's a security expert of many years, very experienced. We're always delighted to have you to have discussions around the neighborhoods of insecurity with us. Thank you, gentlemen, for talking to us on News Global. In other stories, one of the houses of the Yoruba rights activist Chief Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho, in Soka, Ibadan, Oyo State, has been razed by suspected arsonists. Eyewitnesses said that the house was set on fire some minutes after power supply was cut off around the area. Protests of occupation of Yoruba land by the Fulani herders began last week, with a 7-day ultimatum issued to the Fulanis by Sunday Igboho to leave the state or face the consequences. It will be recalled that several houses belonging to the Serikin Fulani of Oyo State, Alhaji Saliu Abdul Kadir, were allegedly set on fire by aggrieved community members in the state. Still to come on News Global, the EU has warned it will tighten rules on exports of COVID-19 vaccines amid a row with AstraZeneca over a cut in planned supplies to the 27-member bloc.
This was not the way Geza town was.
An improved scientific way to trade in commodities including grains and agri-products. See economies of scale sprout in Gezawa commodity market in exchange for investors in Nigeria, Africa and beyond. With over 250 hectares of land, adopt our build, operate and transfer, joint venture or buy, own and operate modules to ease business. Whatever option you chose, Gezawa is sure to support your investment with our partner financial institution. See opportunities in hospitality, haulage and logistics, warehousing, export terminal, laboratory services, manufacturing and more. The first of its kind, fitted with the state-of-the-art 24/7 commodity exchange trading platforms, constant electricity, storage facilities, over 420 single and luxury shops, CCTV surveillance systems, solar street lighting, freight forwarding, banking halls and lands. The best Africa offers. So we ask, what does Gezawa mean to you?
The Geza commodity market means life. If people know the magnitude of what is here, you will know that solution has come.
Welcome back to News Global, reaching you on all our social media platforms, including YouTube. Log on to our website, controltv.ng, for more information you can use. Look us up on Twitter and Facebook as well. A quick reminder of our top stories. President Muhammad Buhari has replaced all of the country's service chiefs, appoints new ones after several years of complaints by the public and the federal lawmakers demanding for the removal of the military commanders. Rights activist Dr. Obi Ezekwesili asked the federal government to communicate with Nigerians over the situation in Olu, Imo State, where the army is alleged to be in a face-off with the Eastern Security Network, that cries extrajudicial killings. National President of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, Alhaji Muhammadu Irwa, has directed Fulani herders across the southwest to put an end to both night and underage grazing with immediate effect. The European Union has warned that it will tighten rules on export of COVID-19 vaccines amid a row with AstraZeneca over a cut in planned supplies to the 27-member bloc. More stories now. The Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Mr. Festus Keyamo, has been speaking on the flag-off of the Special Public Works SPW program across the 774 local government areas in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT Abuja. The government's plan is to employ 774,000 youths in the country. He now joins us from Abuja for a better understanding of the extent of progress made to this time. Many thanks indeed for joining us on News Global. Have you employed all 774,000 Nigerians in this program to date?
Absolutely. We have set up very well. We have supervisors in every local government, every unit of the country, where this special social investment and special public works is taking place. We have coordinators of the NDE in all the states of the Federation. We have coordinators of the NDE in all the local government areas of the country. So we have set up very well to get a feedback mechanism. As from next week, in fact, we just fixed the meeting for next week now to begin to assess the work as going on and to begin to report to Nigerians. We're not just going to keep quiet. We are going to be having weekly updates. Nigerians will be well aware of what we are doing on a weekly basis. In fact, there will be pictorial evidence we are going to be bringing to Nigerians on a weekly basis. All we did in the last 2-3 weeks was to ensure that the launching and the flag-off was, they were all successful in all the states and local government areas in the country. And as I speak with you today, we have only just 2 states left to flag off, which is Benue and Gombe. So we have achieved so much within the last few weeks.
Mr. Keyamo, what challenge have you faced so far in employing this huge number of Nigerians at a go?
We don't have any challenges right now. We don't. What we did was to ensure that every state should assess their own capacity and know when they are ready and willing to take off. We ensured we do that, but we gave them a time frame within which to do that. So we had staggered takeoff. We didn't have everybody taking off the same day around the country. We had some staggered takeoff in the last 2-3 weeks.
Now, while this program is lauded by many, some still say that it is a drop in the ocean. As the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, are there other avenues, indeed, programs, if you will, that you're using to get more people employed in this government?
Of course, yes. Whilst we have existing programs within the National Director of Employment, which I supervise, and the Ministry of Labour, as I speak with you, I just received a memo from Mr. President. Mr. President is so concerned and anxious about this vision, our cardinal vision to lift 100 million people out of poverty in the next 10 years. Mr. President has directed me through the ND to ensure that we come up within the next few days with some clear suggestions, including programs that would impact clearly on Nigerians and will achieve its aim of lifting 100 million out of poverty. As I speak with you, eggheads within our ministry and ND, they have set to work. We have received a lot of input from members of the public since I came to office. We have also received a lot of proposals from people, organizations, and we are putting them together and we ensure that we come up with a comprehensive plan going forward, not even the ones we had before. But let me tell you, Gimba, what we want to do now. As part of my recommendation to government, because the president is waiting for our own input, what I want to do first of all, and what I did not meet on the ground as minister, is to set up a database, a comprehensive database. Without a database, we cannot track what we are doing as a nation. So I wonder at the lack of database that previous governments in the past did not develop for unemployed Nigerians, both skilled and unskilled. And if you know what we are doing at the Special Public Works, it's also a means to gather our database, because what we are doing with the 774 is that as we are registering the people with special bank, that is why the president approved that we should use selected banks, for example. It's not only because we want to capture them, we want to make sure we enter into contract with them to give us, to share data with us. If we don't have an agreement with selected banks, then they cannot share data with us. But as the people are going to the banks, these laborers.
Thank you for your time with us, Festus Keyamo, Minister of State for Labour and Employment. To our COVID-19 stories now, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the NCDC, has reported 1,430 new cases of COVID-19 in the country, bringing the total number of cases to over 112,000, while 1,507 deaths were recorded. Lagos State has recorded the highest number of cases in the second wave of the virus, with 744 cases. Plateau, 100, Oyo, 77, the FCT, 75, Nasarawa, 74, amongst other cases. It said its discharges for today includes 435 community recoveries in Lagos State and 184 community recoveries in Kaduna State, managed in line with the COVID-19 guidelines. And in stories outside of Nigeria, the EU has warned that it will tighten rules on export of COVID-19 vaccines amid a row with AstraZeneca over a cut in planned supplies to 27-member bloc. Health Commissioner Stella Kyriakides said that the EU will take any action required to protect its citizens. Last week, AstraZeneca told the EU it was falling behind on its supply target because of production problems. The EU has been criticized for the low rollout of the vaccines, which it buys on behalf of all member states. And the main news again, we told you that President Muhammad Buhari has replaced all of the country's service chiefs and has appointed new ones after several years of complaints by the public and federal lawmakers demanding for the removal of the military commanders. Also, rights activist Dr. Obi Ezekesili has asked the federal government to communicate with Nigerians over the situation in Olu, Imo State, where the army is alleged to be in a face-off with the Eastern Security Network, and has decried extrajudicial killings. Nigeria Magban Muhammadu Kirwa has directed Fulani herders across the southwest of the country to put an end to both night and underage grazing with immediate effect. And the EU has warned that it will tighten rules on export of COVID-19 vaccines amid a row with AstraZeneca over a planned supply to the 27 member nations. And that's how it's been on Control TV News Global. On behalf of all of us here, have a splendid night rest. I'm Gimba Umar. Good night.